Hey, it's a Scotch test, dummies. I'm doing quick hitters, which are going to relate to stories involving Scott from our police days. That's his 1993 rookie photo. And I don't know where this whiskey is from. I don't even know if it's a bourbon. But if you guys are watching this, I won't go through the whole explanation. Those drive Scott crazy because he's like, they know, just pour it. But for the one person that doesn't, I'm just blindly tasting and giving you my notes and then an interesting story. So let's see if I can get the lid on and see what this is. Bourbon. This one feels like another bourbon with a high rye mash bill. It was the Bullet Bourbon cask strength that I thought it was like all rye. Ooh, that one's got some dill in it. I am going to call this one, I'm going to say this is a rye again, and the odds are it's much more bourbon with a high rye mash bill. I get a little dill, but I'm getting tons of corn in the finish. Oh, God, I'm getting all kinds of corn in the finish. It's got to be a bourbon. So my guess on this is it's a bourbon with a high rye mash bill, and whatever rye being used has a little bit of that dillish flavor. The dill flavors, which I actually like, and a lot of people like, is part of a process that, or from what I've read, where a little bit of bacteria has gotten in there and it changes the flavor to those dill notes. I like that. And it can really add a lot of character to whether it's a rye or a bourbon with a high rye mash bill. Let me do a little water. If it wasn't for these caramel finishes, I would think this was a rye. But I'm going to say it's a bourbon with a high rye mash bill. 4 Roses, 11 year. This was the OBSF, so that's like a recipe style. I forget what it means. This one's 59.4%. It's 11 years and 4 months old. And I believe this is the 4 Roses that I like the most. The OBSF with the higher rye mash bill. So feeling good about this. Interesting. And we're going to talk about the active shooter call. So at this point in our career, we're no longer partners on the street. We've gone off, done our own things. We've both been undercover, but we haven't been working together. But now we're in the same bureau, and we're both sergeants. He might even be, no, I think he's still a sergeant. I think he's a first shift sergeant. And I'm in the captain's office talking about something union related. I'm a union rep. And while I'm talking to the captain, Scott's down in his office, sergeant's office that we shared, and dispatch puts out a call I haven't heard on our channel before this nor since. They come on and say, active shooter, Burlington Coat Factory. Active shooter, all units respond. I've been through training to cover this and everything. First time I hear it for real. I'm thinking, wow. I immediately break into the hallway, and I'm running down the hallway, and I'm yelling, Bruno, let's go. That's Scott's last name. Bruno, let's go. We get to this door. It's got a sensor that sees if you're there, and then it'll unlock it. And we kind of pile up on that door a little bit because we're moving faster than the sensor opened the door. We get out. Another officer joins us, Brad, his twin brother, we will link up with at the scene, which is a whole interesting story in and of itself. And we run over to Scott's car. I hadn't even outfitted my car yet. I think it just started the day for me. And one thing when you're in a hurry or whatever, sometimes your fine motor skills go, and as he's working the key, drops the key. He picks the key up, gets the door open, unlocks it. I get in the passenger side. Brad gets in the back of the police car, which you got to be, because when you close it, you can't get out on your own because it's safety locked, so prisoners can't get out. Scott jumps in and he's driving. Typical partner style. I start telling him as the passenger the way I think is quickest to the scene. So I'm thinking a little unintuitively, we're going to have to drive about 8 blocks, or no, about 6 blocks, no, it might have been 8, the wrong direction to get on like a full out highway where we can shoot the 2 miles and get there super quick, not stopped up by traffic. This is my thought process. He goes, nope, we're going on the frontage road. We got lights and siren. And I'm thinking, man, I think I even told him, come on, man. And sure enough, we come up on an intersection. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. He's air horning, and the car gets out of the way and we're through. Other than that one slowdown, it was smooth sailing. I think his way was probably faster. I hate cross traffic. You get on a highway, you got no cross traffic. But either way. So we get there, we roll into the parking lot. A couple of units have gotten there and they're staging on the side of the main entrance. As we roll up, I get the shotgun, and it's funny because I go, Brad, you ready to go? And Scott goes, who are you talking to? I go, Brad, he's in the back. He's like, no, he isn't. And Brad goes, hey, boss, or something like that. Bruce's like, what? Where did you come from? I didn't know you were in the car the whole time. He didn't see him get in. We come up to the building. We stack, which is the training. We probably should have been stacked off a little bit, but whatever. We're stacked. You just go with what works. I think we get 8 or 10 guys there, and we go. And we move in. There's actually this still shot. I'll see if I can get it. There's a still shot from their camera system that shows us as we first come in. As we come in, I remember the Muzak is on, and it's super, super loud. There's not a noise in there. It's death quiet. And I'm like, holy moly. And the Muzak's playing, and it sounds loud as all get out. And there's a pair of high-heeled women's shoes right by the front door. And it looks like some gal was in such panic, she just ran out of her high heels and got out of there, got to safety. So we're moving in. We're kind of clumped. I push an officer off. Actually, has the same name as me, Bart. So we can fan out a little bit, not be grouped in. And all of a sudden, I see a head pop up out of a dressing room. It's one of these dressing rooms where they're probably only about 6 feet tall. Little tiny series of them with a little bench in there. And I saw a head pop up, white dude. And I yelled out, hey, it's the police, because I couldn't tell, is this a person that's hiding for their safety? Or is this the suspect or a suspect? We don't know. There's no active shooting going on. The head pops down quick, and it looked like it popped down of a guilty person. I don't know how to explain that. But usually if someone's looking for saving, and the police show up, they're kind of like drawing attention, not ducking down like, oop, oh crud, oh crap. So I said, hey, weird looking dude. He had some weird eyes on him. They were big. He was far away and I could see his eyes were like saucers. So me and the other Bart, another guy, we move along this wall toward him. Scott leads the team around, the 2 brothers, the twins, and him, and we come in this L shape. And one of the brothers actually sees the guy, and he sees the guy he said it was weird. He was like he was trying to pull his hand out of his pocket, but it was stuck on something. What it turned out was he had a revolver in his pocket, and the hammer of his revolver was stuck on the pocket, and he couldn't get it out. He's pulling for all he could, and the hammer has hung up inside his jeans. I think it was jeans pants pocket, so he couldn't get it out. Well, they see that he doesn't have a gun visible, and one of the twins uses a taser, gets good taser lockup. The guy had been holding on to this. It looked like he'd ripped the door off of the dressing room, so it's like, I don't know, 4 feet by like 5 feet, and he's using it like a shield. I don't know how he gets a shot on him. And as we're moving up, I'm moving up this way, I see him pitch forward and fall down. And we all kind of close in, and Scott is just about ready to, I mean, he's in close, he's just about ready to pounce on him, maybe a second away. And I see the guy who's on the ground kind of get up and shoot his hand. I thought it was underneath a pair of pants. But someone else told me it wasn't pants, it was this weird brown tan color. Well, it was the door of the dressing room that had fallen over. And he shot his hand under there. Now, other guys think that he thought maybe the gun went under there, but it sure looked like he was diving for a gun. I had a shotgun, and we were all pretty close, so I decided to kick him rather than shoot because it was so close quarters. And I get him flush on the head and the jaw, and it was a solid hit. Now, if you've heard story 3, which is Tell the Truth, Scott, way back in 1996, had used, hey, if he ever kicks somebody, just tell the truth. And that, no problem. It's actually all on a camera, so everybody could even see it. But Scott was so close, he did not see him shoot his hand underneath this door. And he thought I might have just kicked him because I was angry or something. And he looked at me, gave me a crazy look. I've never seen that look. His teeth were bared, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I thought he was going for a gun." He still looked at me like, "Oh, no." And then, like, "No, you didn't." And then the other 2 guys were like, "Yeah, he dove, man. He shot underneath there." And I remember he was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, yeah, you were almost on him, so I don't think you saw it." Well, we get him cuffed, and he was on like a bad bath salt synthetic meth thing or something. And he was like, "Somebody got me good. Who kicked me good?" He was weird. He was all... but in his pocket, they find the gun's actually still in there. We think he thought the gun probably fell down. Now, he actually didn't shoot anybody, but he shot at a security guard where he was stealing a bunch of stuff. They got about 19 911 calls of a guy shooting in the building, so they put it out as an active shooter. I would tell you that is not an active shooter call. That is a aggravated battery or assault. He didn't actually hit the guy. He shot a gun, but he wasn't just running around shooting people. So they still put it out right. We responded correctly. It was not an active shooter. They did charge him with all kinds of serious crimes. It was just funny that 15 years later, the person who's kicking is me, and Scott's thinking that I kicked out of, anger or something. And then, of course, we cleared all up. There was some other interesting thing. I mean, the whole city, all the officers show up because they all call active shooter. And so we got all the brass coming in, and we ended up getting state awards and local awards for all this stuff and everything. So it was just interesting. But he gave me a double teeth. So this one ran a little longer, but it was just interesting. And that was our active shooter call. 4 Roses, OBSF.